Hey everyone. So on Monday, we've picture walked these stories. On Tuesdays, we learn the hardest words in the stories. On Wednesdays, we're reading the stories a second time, looking for more. Well, we're getting close to the end of the week, and it's time to show what you know. So we're going to be taking a look at these stories and answering 3 questions. So I'm going to need you to open up an empty notebook to the first empty page, right? Or a notebook to the first empty page, and you are going to set up your page to answer questions about these young pilots. Okay? So what I would like you to do is start with today's date up at the top, March 25th, 2021. Usually it makes sense in that white space at the top of the page to put a title. That's going to help the principal or the teacher know what you're writing about. And then down the side, I want you to number for the questions, but at the same time, I want you to leave yourself some space between the numbers. That space allows you to show with full sentences what you know about these ideas. So pause the video and get set up. Excellent. All right, now let's go back and read question number 1. It says, reread paragraph 2 of young pilot Jamal Larkins. What made Jamal want to fly those planes? Okay, so you're going to have to forgive me 1 second here. I think I have to grab young pilot Jamal Larkins. There it is. Excellent. Okay, paragraph 1, paragraph 2. Okay, so after takeoff, the airplane gently rolled in the air over my house, and I could see my dog running around the backyard. And that's when I promised myself I would do whatever it took to be involved in aviation. So, what did he really like about flying? What convinced him to become a pilot? I think the fun of seeing his house, right? And maybe his dog from above, right? Soaring over the things that you see every day. So what makes you want to be a pilot? Loving being up high, loving seeing things from above. Those sorts of things would be very important things, reasons why someone would want to become a pilot. So I'm going to go ahead and say, Jamal or Jamal wanted to soar. Oh, I might have enough room. Let me squeeze it in. High above everything else. It makes it fun, right? To look down on all the neighborhood kids, all the things you know, to fly right over your own elementary school. Yeah. Make me promise I'd want to be a pilot. Everything. He wanted to soar high above everything else. Made him want to be a pilot. Let's go back to that list of questions and see what we have for number 2. Now, different one. Look at paragraph 5 from Ranch Flyer. How does Gene think that flying has affected ranchers in such a big way? Right? Ranchers have been ranching for years and years. How has flying affected it? Paragraph 5. So it's tough to, I'm going to go ahead and say paragraph 1, 2, paragraph 3, it's the last paragraph, okay. Gene flew us to a meadow high in the mountains where the sheep were. He was delivering supplies to the shepherds who cared for the sheep there. Gene explained that flying, this is the part, grab my highlighter, had made a really big effect on their lives. Well, tell me more. How did it affect their lives? Let's see. In the past, it would take all day to get up to the high meadow. With a plane, it's a piece of cake. We can get the job done in an hour. Well, I know the big effect now. It is a time saver. So I'm going to say planes save the ranchers time. They're way faster than it used to be. So those planes help save the ranchers' time. There are not a lot of roads in some of these faraway places, and it's hard to get around. They would have to go by horseback or drive all day, and the planes can make it quick and easy. One last question. Now, I always like these because we're going to be looking at two different ideas. We're going to be thinking about the young pilot, Jamal Larkins, and the narrator in Ranch Flyer. Okay? How do they both feel about flying? And we're going to need a little evidence. So I'm not going to do a Venn diagram because they didn't really ask about differences. I'm just going to say how they both feel. Okay? Well, I know that he wanted to soar above everything. I found that. And I remember when Gene went to the barn. Those kids, the cousins, they were climbing over each other. They sat on each other's lap to fit into that plane. So I think they liked looking down from above as well. I remember them talking about how minute some of the stuff was. So I'm going to say both stories or both texts loved soaring above or soaring high in the sky or something like that. Both narrators, oh, that'll be good because that's who really told these stories, right? So I'm going to say both narrators loved, an exclamation point, loved. There were exclamation points all over this text because of their passion, because they were excited about it. Loved flying high above everything. Uh-oh. This happens sometimes. I'm going to split this word in half. Everything. If you run out of space, you can always just use a little hyphen. Yeah, they both loved it. It would have been a more interesting question maybe if one hated it and one loved it. But in this case, both of them seemed to really enjoy flying above everything else. Thanks for showing what you know with me. Appreciate it.